Following the success of the best-selling compact SUV, Volvo thought about giving the EX30 a little bit of a facelift, a little bit of an upgrade. What you see here is the Volvo EX30 Cross Country, basically a more off-road ready, all-terrain ready type of EX30. On the outside, the biggest change has to be the styling. You get this two-tone black and white, or even black and gray, depending on the color that you choose. And it looks very good, I have to say. The contrasting black adds a very good, bold, adventurous flair to it. So you get a blacked out bumper here, which has one of Sweden's highest mountain topography and all the lines embedded here in this bumper. So it looks pretty good. When it comes to headlights, you get LED headlights with daytime running lights. They're called Hammer Star or Tor Star headlights. Under the bonnet, you get a small frunk. Because it's an electric car, you do not get anything under here. So it is, you can put a laptop, maybe a backpack or something like that. You can throw your shoes maybe in there, but it's not really the most practical frunk that you get. When it comes to upgrade, you also get 19-inch alloy wheels. Yes, this is the top derivative of the EX30, but now it comes with an 19-inch compared to the Twin Performance Ultra, which comes with 20-inch alloy wheels. Here you get 19-inch alloy wheels and all-terrain tires. Besides the wheel, you also get a 19mm suspension lift, which makes it quite easier and more comfortable to drive it on gravel road or on paved surfaces such as this one. And other upgrade includes this roof racks here, which is coming as standards with this cross country. Remember, they're selling you that off-roady, all-terrain type of vibe where you can put your surfboard, you can put extra luggage and whatnot, anything that you want to do when it comes to off-roading. And yeah, it looks pretty good. Yes, it does look good. Is it the most practical thing? We shall find out. At the back, the Volvo EX30 Cross Country still retains the same compact and very sleek design as it is in the standard EX30. Of course, the black contrasting look is carried on here at the back. You get this blacked out back plate here with Volvo here. And also something quite a bit different is that you get cross country written there at the bottom. And before we forget, one thing also is that you also get a cross country nameplate here, which on the standard EX30 is just written EX30 here. Yes, you get LED tail light here, which are separated here. I wish it came with like a tail light bar here, which would have looked cool, but this is the design. Pretty good. The view is pretty minimal here because you get this sloping roof design here at the back, and this is how you unlock your boot. Fully electric tailgate, and you get about 300 liters of boot capacity, fairly decent for this particular size. And you get this force floor, which you can actually change the level of the heights the way you want it. You can also fold the rear seat into the 60-40 split configuration in case you want to, store more items or anything longer that wouldn't fit here. It is pretty good. One Easter egg though is a lot of people haven't noticed this. On the Volvo EX30, you don't really need to wonder much about like what you can fit here. You get like this chart here at the back which tells you, will it fit? It shows you different items and different heights and dimensions where you can just have a look here and say, maybe that bar fridge that you've been looking to buy, you want to carry it in your EX30, they won't fit here. So yes, you get to see what's going to fit here, and it is pretty good. There's a LED light somewhere there. There's a 12-volt power sockets, a couple of shopping hooks, and pretty good. To be honest, not really the biggest in its class, but for this, I think it works. You join me inside the interior of the Volvo EX30 Cross Country. Very neat, very minimalistic design all around here. So the interior hasn't changed compared to the interior of the standard EX30. Same design, same features, quite a lot of quirks and features here. So in front of the driver, you get this flat top and flat bottom steering wheel. Very good. I do like the buttons on it. I wish there were quite a bit more, but they are very essential. They work very good. You get your steering shifter column here on the side where you go from drive, park, and whatnot. Your parking on the side. Here's where you control your light and your window wipers here. Pretty good, very standard. In front of the steering wheel here or behind the steering wheel, you'll find your sensors here. which are DMS, I think, driver monitoring system. So it monitors your attention, your level of concentration, fatigue, and whatnot. So every time you're distracted, it will remind you that you're distracted. And also, sometimes it just works because it want to work. If you're looking at your blind spot a little too long, or you're looking at the screen a little too long, it will tell you that you're being distracted, and it is quite a bit sensitive. Although, yes, I like the minimalistic vibe. It's pretty cool. It's just a little bit too much. I wish there was some kind of heads-up display, at least here in front. Would have made it much easier to keep track of your speed compared to having to look at it here in this portrait screen. Speaking of portrait screen, this here is, I believe, a 12.4, 12.5 inch display, fully digital, compatible with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto wirelessly, but it comes with Google built in here inside. Hey Google, what's the weather like today in Cape Town?
Today in Cape Town it will be mostly cloudy, with a forecast high of 22 and a low of 80.
Okay, that's what it can do. Can do things like setting up your temperature, turning on the seat heating, connecting you to your Spotify and direction and whatnot, so it's pretty good. You also get shortcuts here at the bottom where you get to control pretty much all the essential features such as your fan speed, your driving modes and whatnot. So expect to have quite a lot of fingerprints on the screen here. I like the resolution, very good, very responsive. I wish there were quite a little bit more features or more shortcuts to add here, but it is what it is. This is how it looks. So the upper side tells you your driving speed, your driving range and whatnot, your trip computer and all of that. Your driving speed is a little bit displayed on the smaller side, hence I wanted to have the heads-up display here in front. And speaking of other quirks, in this portrait screen here, you get to control things such as your glove box by pressing like this. Yes, it opens. And I think Volvo went for this because they're trying to cut cost. Having this glove box here in the middle means whenever they design this car for either the European market or other markets, they only have to swap the steering wheel on the other side. They don't have to redesign the glove box on different side of the car. So I think it works pretty good. There are no physical buttons all around here. All the buttons are just here in front of the driver and the steering wheel and these controls here. Besides that, you get this beautiful floating central armrest, which is pretty good, pretty quirky. You do this, you get cup holder that extract here, and if you do not want to use these cup holders, you can always retract them like this and use this for storage. You get a spillage mat here, which, yes, comes in handy. You have to push it twice, and here in the middle you get all your controls for your windows, so you get to go up and down like this. It's only 2 controls, and if you want to switch to the rear passengers, you have to press this haptic feedback. So you get wireless charging pad here at the bottom, which is pretty good. It's actually good that your phone get to charge quite a bit upright, so you can keep an eye on it a little bit. And you get these tray here underneath, and it comes with 2 USB Type-C ports where you can charge your phone. Pretty good use of space and makes the cabin feel quite roomy. I like that the soundbar is neatly integrated with the panels here on the side. It is almond carbon, which sounds very good. For my personal liking, I wish they included another speaker maybe behind the center console to, to diverge the sound a little bit more towards the rear and make it like a full-on full house speaker. But besides that, it sounds very good for the price point. When it comes to the rear passenger space though, it is quite a bit tight here. As you can see, sitting behind my driving position is quite a bit tight. My knees are hitting the driver's seat. Headroom is pretty decent. In terms of legroom, not really much room to slide my feet under the driver's seat. So having adults here at the back, anyone above, 186 or 183 will be very uncomfortable. Or anything above 170 will be very uncomfortable because I don't see myself sitting here for a long journey. But if it's a short trip, I think it's going to be good enough. Besides that, what do you get here? Unfortunately, there are no pockets behind the driver's seat, no the passenger seat here, and you do get 2 USB Type-C ports, which are pretty good. You get your controls for your windows here, a small slot for you to, I don't know, keep coins, your phone, or some snack. But you get a very useful bin here where you can put some things here. And there are quite a bit of Easter eggs here. You get some mountains, some clouds, and you get some elk. I don't know if this is a moose or hawk, but yeah, some of them animals from the Swedish forest. And you can put this back here, pretty good. You get ISO child fix anchorage point here. There are no cup holders retractable here, but you do get a 3-point seat belt even for the middle passenger here at the back. The panoramic glass roof is pretty good. Some people worry about things falling on it, but yeah, that's a story for another day. So what is it like to drive the Volvo EX30 Cross Country, you may wonder? Well, it is just as fun and as cool as driving the Volvo EX30. Remember, this cross country gets the twin motor performance that you get in the top derivative of the Volvo EX30. So you get 315 kilowatts and 543 Newton meters of torque. That is a lot of power. Well, with a lot of power comes a lot of fun. Right now we are on some back roads and we get to throw this around quite a bit. One thing that I've noticed though is with the added 19 millimeters suspension lift, you can expect quite a little bit of body roll when taking corners at speed. But I'm not really sure people who are going to be buying the EX30 Cross Country will be looking at taking corners at speed. What you can have though is still very fast and very responsive 0 to 100 time. Although it is 0.2 seconds slower than the non-cross country version, you still get 3.7 seconds out of 100. So it is pretty fast. You get to drive it in 3 driving modes. You have the range mode, you have the normal, and you have the performance mode. Performance mode is the mode that puts you back into your seat, and the range mode is basically range efficient. So the acceleration is much more smoother, a little bit more delayed, but every time you restart the car, it puts you into what do you call it? It puts you into the standard driving mode, which is normal driving mode. But like here, every time you put your foot to the floor, you get power on demand. Whether you are in the range mode, you are in the standard mode or performance mode, power is there, quick and on tap. We are now testing the 0 to 100 performance of the Volvo EX30 Cross Country. Volvo claims that you can do 0 to 100 in about 3.7 seconds, and let's see how fast we can do it. So foot on the brake, performance mode on, accelerate and release the brakes. Mamma mia! Wow, that's 120. Jesus, that was pretty quick. Wow. Mechanically, there's nothing to fault about this Volvo EX30 Cross Country. Driving wise, very amazing. Very, very good feedback from the steering wheel to the wheels. Pretty good. Very responsive steering wheel. Very nice as well. I do like the fact that it's not round. You get like this flat top and flat bottom, which makes it feel quite a bit sporty. Speaking of being sporty, if you want to throw it around corners, it maintains, you know, good suspension and good balance with good confidence, so you get to push it around corners without being any nervous. And obviously the four-wheel drive driving system allows you to, you know, to be more confident even when it's like raining or any hectic weather conditions. So you have that confidence of pushing it around without biting you back. Cabin is very comfortable, I have to say, very minimal. They go to the sole minimalistic touch, and if you want to save the planet, if you're one of those people who will vouch for that, they're using quite a lot of recycled materials here. So there's old fishnet and Coke bottles and whatnot that have been used all around to create panels like around the doors, your central console and whatnot. Underneath you there is a battery, a 69 kilowatt hour battery, which fully charged, Volvo claims that you can have around 450 kilometers of driving range. But in the real world, charging this car fully, the max I've gotten here was 393 kilometers of driving range, which is, I'll say, what, about 70 kilometers shy from what Volvo claims, which 70 kilometers is quite a lot of distance, especially when you're driving this in town. And yeah, you might need that 70 kilometers or so to find the next charger. When it comes to energy consumption, Volvo claims that this EX30 Cross Country averages somewhere around 15 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. And is that realistic? Well, during my time with this, I've been averaging somewhere around 20 and 22 on the highway. And when you're driving it in the city, I'm averaging somewhere around 19 and 20 kilowatt hour per 100 kilometers. Is that bad? Not particularly so. I think it works out very fair. And yes, you can stretch that whole 390 kilometers that you get on a full charge. But yes, I wish we could have gotten, what is it, 450 like Volvo claims from the WLTP test that they have done to this 69 kilowatt hour battery. But for what it is, I think it is pretty fair. I think you will find yourself charging this car quite often if you do a lot of long distance trips, which I found myself doing quite a lot. So I find myself charging this car every 2 days or so. So yeah. But if you have your charger, mounted at home, one of those wall boxes, I don't think you need to be stopping at any big charging station quite often. So for 1.16 million rand, you get this Volvo EX30 Cross Country. Yes, I believe that this Cross Country makes of a very interesting variant of the EX30, but it is more targeted toward a niche market. And if you find yourself to be the type of person who likes traveling on gravel road and still want to retain this whole electric efficiency with the whole flair that Volvo has added to the EX30, then I think you should consider it. But if you only drive in town and you don't necessarily see any gravel roads and you don't really have a need for an extra roof rack or basket on top of your car, then I think settling for the normal EX30 Twin Performance Ultra is just good enough. Or would you buy something else at that price point from Volvo?